up to 20 million times, you will lose it 20 million times. And to me, I mean,
okay. Just what the Marano to talk to Honia Diana. Okay. Okay.
Masha almost about 20 lawyers.
Okay.
Yeah, will be a name. Oh, my dear. 20, no. I was just away about 17 lawyers. Which are
okay.
Our software come away. Now we have become so one printer. A mobile 18 in favor of who died public view at the same thing.
Okay.
It's my partners on one in Mulo. No. What do you put up along? Patch on the 26 year day for fee. Okay. We shall say free hour day. And Cabell Lumba name we see a woman a brother.
I own a brother.
And you have no two could do.
But a
trunk Rubia.
Hey.
A brother woman. Yawanda woman. If you are the woman, you are tap for fee now the actual minute. Not really every somebody. After the national area, one of the biblical to Lumba. The question may be found was Abusuapanin what can come at the Akaku now Pacoson. Just on the crowd, one many dear man, be a million issue. If they say I find Abusuapanin, the Bacosi Lumba.
There was your former church of Bia, Emma, in a Wakaba, and about by Grace TV, as so many secretary and Ponyanko Tom. Ubia, who was yesterday, the Bia Mecana, Mr. Obekai home. Our channel is one or subscribe ya mame and now what turn notification we are now share ama from so nya bia hwere nim so be ntnya sure na onye wo so akoma so ade ma busu ebe kan ya na wotwe ya mu ebe wi ade beto ma nim se that the Lumba na immediate family abusua ye ni nua ba pan ni ma me brem poma ofa ya poku ene woni ya waka o maka bum atwe Abusuapanin kofi so that Lumba Abusuapanin akugina court yom so se Abusuapanin kofi so ednepe ayisika bi afri aye foto ya de the sika sabi ya de ato foto mu de that Lumba ye no ya na Abusuapanin kofi so ednepe abawrem ayisika ne bi de afrim ya oyisika na wa ma obi amane obi anim de akwaye afi omo sa akwa ka se Abusuapanin kofi so nepe ni oma bi a wo mo ye immediate family no wo mo ni mo hwe mo ho a ene se sebi waye tinoko wo mo kasa se court kwan fa injunction tabo ento aye na sebi Abusuapanin chese eba so 13 December na so na sabi am no kasa the official court summon no yensa kakrata ne bi ya de be 12 days ni na edi mu nkomo de ho officially nsaman kata de na eka de ensem na immediate family that Lumba immediate family they are down court Abusuapanin kofi so ya nyame adoma enche kwa court ebetina se na wahwe sansem nti ene ohwe krata no a that's the rate of summons and na that's so honom no nti unze obapanin efi adoma ono wo pa akoso Kumasi there's a Lumba ema menom na nanom mampanyufo ne ba kono na afei Robert Jemfi AK of Ayapoku that Lumba ofa ya ono so Sofia Kumasi afei George na Jemfi ono ye that Lumba ma minua ono so eka plaintiffs no na mbo mo den won de asana kodan court no afi Ernestina Fosu ina ye nim that Lumba nua ba panyin ono so ewo bom so Kumasi and afi na Afiakobi ono wo pa koso Kumasi wo mo na aka bom mpanyinfo num yi omo na de asana kodan court omo ye plaintiff no na omo de omo akudina court no nya Abusuapanin kofi usu nkwa to boss ni tie ye di kan first defendant na Abusuapanin kofi usu ye wo bu akwa Kumasi afi second defendant no Cow Bank headquarters bank I friends Cow Bank on say one that Lumba football na ye football sika no honeta ti omo go gina court and afi transition funeral homes no so Atomic Road and kind na the tell say transition funeral homes yi hona that Lumba mu no ehye ewo enkan patem honum ti omo say atwa go gina court guys na no asem eba Kumasi High Court no and it's not transition funeral homes no mo ka defendant no ehon ebi na afi yin which means an action having been commenced against you by the issue of this writ by the above named plaintiff, you are hereby commanded that within 8 days after service of this writ, on you inclusive of the day of service, you to cause an appearance to be entered for you. Say about day and some kata koda no mo say 7 same thing about doing and to was on to one among that the Sefata Bia or no now the young grandson one cassa. Yes, indeed, a hano on say a nipa no just dying court no or one of the one nipa noon. Yeah, is to say almost only that Lumba immediate family. Yeah, in any so that Lumba Busia for a mamma about paying a fiat doma. After offer Yapoku or Benjamfi. After Mamma George and Jenfi that Lumba my minia, Mammy Sani, I don't know. After the sinner for suit that Lumba near about paying. And after Nana a fiaco beyond so Pacoso. You also cut a Busiana Cassan Pacoso and it's still a corner this year Busiana or Kahompi. And Yansha statement of claim on some yeah and Jamakujan court and said he can say the plaintiffs are the immediate maternal principal family members of the late Charles Kojofosu who belong to the wider a corner royal family of Pacoso and Isuta. Let's say one moment just down court to you. He can which him say one more and yeah Busuya can Mr. Mekan so much him no a Busuya one more a bend that Lumba pa a yeah corner Busuya yeah a war a yeah Pacoso and Isuta. There's a woman na yeah Busuya pombe that Lumba the moment na a corner Busuya Cassie yeah or Pacoso and Isuta no after it also say the second plaintiff that's of Ayapoko some here can only a second plaintiff no. The second plaintiff is the head of the immediate family of the late Charles Kojofusu, aka that Lumanes of Ayapuku or no, and na a year obia a ban immediate family that Lumba Busiano a ben that Lumba pano on a dawmano, a Yabusiapeni ewum. After to also say the first defendant, and Yabusiapeni Kofuso, is the head of the wider a corner royal family of Insuta and Parcos. Next, Yabusiapeni Kofusu, or no, and a bano. Abusuakaka Canada on a dano nimum about immediate family. Yeah, that Lumba FM Kakana the amateur of Ayapuku on a Yabusiapeni. Yentu as will say the second defendant, and a car bank as is a bank which has that Lumba foundation, ideal foundation account. There's a bank and a whole that Lumba for 12 Abusia a war. After just we must say the third defendant, and a transition funeral homes, is a mortuary into which the body of the late Charles Kojofusu, aka that Lumba, is deposited. See them can kind of transition funeral homes are atomic road and kind. How that Lumba mono a she after yentu as way. Just we say the plaintiffs averse that their immediate maternal family consists of about paying and ama Benhini, who gave birth to Bapeni Amisa, who also gave birth to Ernestina Fosu, Charles Koyofosu, at that Lumba. Okay, that's what you say. One more, the idea of Sabadan court, almost one much you say, oh, na, that Lumba, the Busia, Ketuaka Cano, Yao Freeman, no, Omina, or Bapeni, Nana, Ama Benhini. One more free say, yeah, on a war about Penny Amisa, that Lumba Mame, and also about war Ernestina Fosu, a sound war that Lumba at the cow. I fear it also be more say. The plaintiffs aver that Pacoso Hene Nana Boache Amponsa or Kofro Ban is their chief mona. To almost say it be once in Zoma this year or Pacoso. Tikata or more, there are some down court immediate family team say Nana Pacoso Hene Nana Boache Amponsa or Kofro Ban. One na a year Busiania or tear you pass pass and so on. Yahene ya with that this year Busiana and or Yahin main cancer. To want to tear you pass away the chief mona after Yentos Ninti the Omoka say the plaintiffs aver that. As at the time this raid was being prepared, the first defendant, has failed and or refused to officially inform their chief monarch per account custom and tradition of the person of the late Charles Kojofusu, aka that Lumba. Next, I also say, I want to say, a better Lumba Yami Diako Pim, December ya, Sabina, Ochia, baby, didn't crack the Ecodan Courty, not a Busiapeni Kofusu, on two and a mobia, say, or say, Malapa Coso, ya on the tear you passo. Pansama Abusuapeni Kofusu no for Yapokumi na aba no wonko bo na amane said ya kan amamade ne amane enso etie na say washada o say the omuntimi enchim after to also say the plaintiffs aver that the late Charles Kojofosu aka that Lumba during his lifetime was a prominent figure of the immediate maternal family. Say that Lumba brand no tias no e fa no sa eye abusuya kakra no aye kan wanso me of Yapoku dan no say the character eche na now you be a bujan or a tip like I say, a woman, ya winnie free moi, ye. Half the entrance be way. Or say, the plaintiffs aver that the late Mr. Charles Kojofosu died on the 26th of day of July 2025. Next, say, or must say to be that Lumba, but so many soon, that was what you knew, see, our film pim, and a no, and we in your media. After it also say, the plaintiffs aver that after the death, the first defendant, Abusuapanin Kofusu, constituted a committee to organize the final funeral rites of the disease. Next, omo chirem say a brother Lumba ye nyame dia no abusuapani kofu so ono apauko say omo hwe no omo that Lumba ye said they are isiete. And I just we say the plaintiffs aver that the first defendant did not inform the plaintiffs, who are the immediate family members, siblings, mother, nieces, and nephews, of the demise of the late Dad Lumba. Let's say, almost say that Lumba ye nyame dia na abusuapani kofu so ete committee. So omo wa me that Lumba ye. I always say mpa ne say sebio Mr. Meka abusuapani kofu so mo ye immediate family wa mo obi amane auto committee no wa fo obi akra account na say wa mo obi amane mpo na mpese Mr. Meka what you will be aka ho say dia eno so esti also na eye anuafo maame no mo of asefo ya omu na aka abusuan so abusuapani mo obi amane after just we must say the plaintiffs aver that they reported the matter to the Menchia Palace, whereupon the first defendant, Abusuapani Kofu, was ordered to desist from attempting to organize the funeral and or taking decisions that will affect the preparation and organization of the funeral without the plaintiffs. Now, say, as I'm called Sebio, Nanom Axem Kunyaho, Ewo, Nasa Mahina Himfi, Sebi, and Anoma, ya Aka. Emma, Omoko Akache Abusuapani Kofu, were first defendant, and say, ye, no, funny person or ye, a year and share, Ewa Bra, immediate family, no, Abusuani bend that Lumba Pano. Obey you, my friend, and answer Sebio, Mr. Meka, on for more and count, and not air barco. After just we say, the plaintiffs aver that 1 week observation of Sarkodie for Süed that Lumba was celebrated on the 30th day of August 2025 at Independence Square crying. I'm watching a down actually course 30th August 2025 on crying Independence Square. After say the plaintiffs aver that following the development of paragraph 8 above, friends, family members, loved ones, well wishers, among others who came to sympathize with the family, donated monies towards the funeral commemoration. Next, no Kwebata Lumba ye nyame dia said amamre nya manete no adofo ayonko wo mo asabi asem no wo no ye omo ya omo na bai e be yi ska the boy say busuafo enye na bibia enye asumdwi mfa ye ntoto ye ne ade ho. Then no mo chirem say the plaintiffs aver that after the 1 week celebration observation, an account was opened at the Cow Bank, second defendant, with the account name that the Lumba Memorial Foundation (LBG), into which the monies the family realized during the 1 week observation was lodged. Next, bro, me na ochotani bi no. Sika omunya ni ade nyina, omo de koto Cow Bank account mu ye ade that so, and that Lumba Memorial Foundation (LBG). Afei, almost like we say the plaintiffs aver that the said account number no and HW our carton so that's number 17 no that's 14000009943 after just we must say the plaintiffs aver that the said account therefore is an account of the immediate members of the family. Let's say account number you be the mother Lumba na ye ni ade na mu chem say enam scientist account no kra no account wa say abusuapanin no and I say Mr. Meka abusua krokro akaka the immediate family no one more ena also munya tumi ewa account no eso esanse one na say yomo dia mo control there because bia after just be mom say the plaintiffs aver that a committee was initially formed for the 1 week celebration which has since been dissolved. Don't you say I committee dey pabi say na otwa na bibia bekoso nanso no say abro mo didi say egu eni honum biem na yentie. The plaintiffs aver that a new committee has been formed which is headed by the second plaintiff. Next omo kam obi at say empogwa no committee no ya edi kan egui ama omo te committee foforo ya sa committee foforo mati of ayapoku I heard that Lumba of ayapoku ono na eda sa committee no ano. After it also we must say the plaintiffs aver that the said committee has been formed to supervise, superintendent, oversee the preparation and organization of the final funeral rite of the late Charles Kojo Fosweke that Lumba. Let's say sir committee ya powerful of ayapoku down omo hwe se omo ebe hwe na that Lumba ye de ebe koso emu hye ne bibia ebe ya asumdwe na bibia entochima after it was be man ni na yensem wo work court nsem na watwen bo ase amechehye ni nyina no after it was be must say the plaintiffs aver that before the committee can meet to nominate the signatories to the account, the first defendant, that's Abusuapani Kofi, has been drawing money from the account for the benefit of himself without the knowledge, consent, and or approval of the plaintiffs, the immediate family. Let's say, embu committee over power omo na ehwe say eye no to bibia be koso boko no. And now omo be hu say omo ni mo wachi no be hu say Abusuapani Kofi so. Apekuti kwan bi so ya wono eyi sika ade free say account ya mu the sika we use account yi one more immediate family no yeah I'm na plenty from the asama kona court so on cash in obi a omo bibia so obi a ni mo hwe sabi anya se omo kwa na agya to mama kwan se o wetin akoyi sika e dey free account no afi ento as we say that the first defendant on the 11th day of November 2025 presented a check of 30,000 Ghana cedis and reduced same without recourse to the plaintiffs. Na say busumi du ba ko etwam ya dey to do ba ko e wa fimpi million adu nunu ye wo me ya mu Abusuapanin Kofi Usu the first defendant no or the check yeah actually so 300 million 30,000 Ghana cedis and okoye ekoyi sika no e dey free account me e wa bra one a immediate family of that Lumba obi anwenhwe ho wanka bibia nche obi a no ye baako and after just be more say the plaintiffs averse that the first defendant has gone further to withdraw 60,000 Ghana cedis 60,000 Ghana cedis 600 million for reason known to him alone and without the knowledge consent and approval of the plaintiffs. That's another chino odi kan yi 30,000 Ghana cedis no sa fresh ekoyi 60,000 Ghana cedis 600 million e wa bra immediate family of that Lumba no obi anim ho hwe wan ka hwe so amfa nche obi a after it also say that our initial that our intel suggests that the first defendant on the 19th day of November 2025 has initiated process to further withdraw a whopping 200,000 Ghana cedis of the money with the second defendant meant for the preparation and organization of the funeral in for reasons best known to him and without recourse to the plaintiffs and true to the intel, he has indeed withdrawn same on 21st day of November 2025. And I say, almost say, November year trim, and that was don't come. And now, one yan and what we can go on, say, oh, and yes, was a penny confused person 2 billion. Send a cat and I can and cat on the Akodan Cotton. With a penny confused person 2 billion, which is 200,000 Ghana cedis at the free. I hear that Lumba account or maybe or car bank second defendants now. Now no current say almost answer no Emma a bit pum say no crab Japanese aqua 2 billion no at the free account to what into on the 19th. Almost say who say na Japanese person why and on the 21st 2 days at 21st November Japanese quiet equal 2 billion 200,000 Ghana cedis at the free Charles could for that Lumba the funeral account anymore. After it also be more say the plaintiffs aver that the first defendant, that's Abusuapanin Kofi Usu, has arrogated unto himself as the sole decision maker in respect of the final funeral rites of the late Charles Kodiofosu, aka that Lumba, without recourse to the plaintiff. Now say, "Omo diun ya pa say Abusuapanin Kofi Usu, omo susu say, ono ajibibi akenten so, just say, ono the open away, yeah, so ko use free account mu okutu na mo say ya. Onye obi adwenche, okasa obeye, ya ontie hwe, emfemfiri wonwa the plaintiffs and also immediate family of that Lumba no echo. After it was to be more say the plaintiffs maintain that every decision, planning or steps the first defendant Abusuapanin Kofi Usu takes in respect of the funeral of their beloved Charles Kodiofosu, aka that Lumba, is calculated to meet his selfish parochial interest and not the good of the family. That's almost say come and saying that to say Sabi omo immediate family of that Lumba no omo ka si so pise Abusuapanin Kofi Usu first defendant no and amonto bi a wo tu for that Lumba ye ho ene ye nkomra kwani abedie ni nhyin na no de ono obenya film de ono ahwehwe film ti na otu ne mo nyese bi a otu anamon bi ya otu se abusua ne yie mu se Lumba ye beti makata na chi animonya mu da bi empty sada after it also be ma I'll say the plaintiff averts that the first defendant has evinced an intention clearly not to include the plaintiffs who are the immediate family members of the late Charles Kodiofosu aka that Lumba in the planning, organization, preparation, etc. of the funeral of the late Charles Kodiofosu aka that Lumba. That's one of the more cases in piece that Abusuapanin Kofi Usu while you na adwen ase kwan bia so one more that Lumba immediate family no of one nka eye ne ho hye se bi se we see to anamon bia no ono Abusuapanin Kofi Usu wa we ataso e de nchine boto se of one counter. After say the plaintiff averts that all attempt to stop the first defendant from depleting the limited amount in the account as soon as say and I'm on to be a immediate family no or want to say the beya on be see Abusuapanin Kofi Usu kwan na on fani pe ensan ko izika foforo ya aka enfan free Charles Kodiofosu that Lumba the funeral account mo no o mo ye bi enkusi Abusuapanin entie odaye on the say o ya and na o ye after it also be mo say the plaintiffs aver that unless this court makes an order the first defendant will continue to squander all of the money in the said account, which is meant for the observation of the final funeral rite of the deceased. Next, say, Omo case ni say, be just a court, and the best share with your penny say, Abusuapanin go fusu court here show, and konko iska bia, and fem free that the Lumba kwajo fusu, and na ye footwo no. And yes, sir, Omo jide pass Abusuapanin, obey sika wo footwo no na, asani na, yeah, enye asem ketwa and so on. I've just been say, the plaintiffs state that circumstances surrounding the death of the late Charles Kojo is the subject matter of an ongoing investigation by the Criminal Investigation Division of the Ghana Police Service and other investigative bodies following a petition lodged by the immediate family members of the deceased. And so, when come and say that, I say, Sabia Manoka say, a quite a little fast so we the sea and some way Yamediano. Ninano, a Shemoku so coso, our Ghana opposed for Akachi. Oko baby fa say obi ye dream obi di obi awu boni awdo criminal investigations division wono onko si ye nhwemu ya nhwemu koso sa bre pa nya asempto bra abusuafo okoye complain say omo nte kwan a omo de share that Lumba fa so ye na se ti ento so be say the plaintiffs state further that despite the ongoing police investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of the late Charles Kojo, the first defendant has decided to hold the funeral of the deceased and bury his maternal remains on the 13th day of December 2025 and has erected billboards announcing his intentions to the general public. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying, "Enshemu kura busu kosi ni enshemu wiye." Nanka ye mo I was a champion enshemu wiye. Ni tie dia apposi for beka. After doctor for mpeni for beka. So, odi je kura bia on the way natural death. And I ban say see. As no way nyame dia nanka obi atene was na esi no. Ebi peni go fu so ebu na niagu. Investigation how do I call yeah oko Kumasi mountain so Ghana sunyane tachiman tamale and crime baby ah Abusuapanin go fu so aye billboards akese yeah watch say on there me there be o sie that Lumba Charles Kojo Fusu yento say the plaintiffs said that if the first defendant proceeds with the burial of the mortal remains of the late Charles Kojo Fusu as announced by him, such burial will hamper ongoing police investigations into the circumstances surrounding his death, which necessarily requires that the corpse is not interfered with or buried. And I'm saying, so na a post from penny for you, na a doctor for the phone penny for you, and can you when you can see a Siamun, something you cause in way. And so we are penny confused, so we are tasked to say, China, we see a Queen Bias, we see that Lumba. No. And I'm just saying, there be any question about how my son said, so we could see that Lumba. If you want to oppose for a doctor for you. I bet can't is a mukaka. It's not what you say. Any question of Japan could see that the Lumba Charles Kojo Fusu. After it also be more. Wherefore, the plaintiff's claim against the defendants jointly and severally is for the following release. Njafina, plaintiffs no, almost sound that court, and they almost court, and a court near my woman, no, almost a almost court near mom. Or say a declaration that the planning, preparation, organization, conduct, performance, and every decision that is incidental to the performance of final funeral rites of the late Charles Kojo Fusu, that the Lumba, by account, custom, and tradition, is the sole and exclusive preserve of the immediate maternal family of the deceased. Next, almost say, I feel you share the Abecosu, the Betregu, and I'm on 2 BIS, a fata says a cost no. Almost share court say, course you need to not call one. It's answer no dear, and Kawamu, yeah, Busfia, your immediate family on better Lumbana, or one else say you're more as a dear, and not air barco. I fear it also be a ma, or say, it will be na or more a kind to us when you can kind so, and for enche a man sign. I will say, a declaration that Mr. Robert Jemfieke Yapuku for Yapuku is the head of the immediate maternal family of the late Charles Kojo Fusu, aka Daddy Lumba, and not the first defendant. Abusuapanin Kojo Fusu. Almost stress a court. And you to know to just say about immediate family, that Lumba immediate family now of Ayapoku, one Abusuapanin name home and Abusuapanin Kojo Fusu. After it also say a declaration that the first defendant is the head of the wider Ekwana family and not the immediate maternal family of the late Charles Kojo Fusu, aka that Lumba. And say almost stress court and into now say Abusuapanin Kojo Fusu, one of the Ekwana Busu Akaka yeah, what in Suta and Pacosuno. And now Abusuapanin. Nemum enye immediate maternal family kakana yeda Lumba Freemono and our year or more Abusuapanin. After it also be more say a declaration that the first defendant is not a member of the immediate maternal family of Charles Kojo Fusu, aka that Lumba, and can therefore not participate in the planning, preparation, organization, conduct, performance, and every decision that is incidental to the final funeral rite of the late Charles Kojofu so that Lumba. Let's say the medical can much him say, cause you to say Abusuapanin Kofusu about immediate maternal family of that Lumba on can be to say a young share you say no there be Abusuapanin Kofusu any to me so when I bet dear and I want to any acquire immediate family no Abusuan fache me immediate family no one more emphasis and so on and also a back. After it also be more say a declaration that Lumba Memorial Foundation LBG account with the second defendant is the property of the immediate maternal family of the late Charles Kojofu. Of course, you to say for two a Dakar bank you only second defendant a and crying. I mean, just account no that number account where you know. A woman that number didn't that's and a year account here be the mom. And you was a penny confused the Japan now no akwa is careful. Now got into say a immediate maternal from the Abusuano bend that number. One more enna, one more etia. After it was be my your money, your Japadi, Minchimsa. After it was be more say an order of the court restraining the first defendant was a penny confused and any other member of the old committee from accessing the account number 14000099434 57 with account name that the Lumba Memorial Foundation LBG at Car Bank Ghana. Let's say almost a court and in shedding tubes upon confused so say or no and say old committee that and say anyone will be no and one will be a uncle account no Car Bank account no that Lumba the account no and ko bibia and so free man no see back after just be more say an order directed at the first defendant to account surrender submit, refound, etc. any item and or funds withdrawn from the Lumba Foundation account after the dissolution of the committee previously formed by the first defendant. Inti after the court ensure Abusuapanin Kofiusu ya one first defendant no say account no emu sika bia waye anade bia won ho bia no onfa ni nyina emra onfa ni nyina emfa and the funeral committee can dey na order no yeah bibia free omo ye free account no mu anana mo to bia o tu sika any item ade bia wo bia omo fa ni nyina enso enko na bibia enye asumdie yes omo fa ni nyina amre wo mo na bibia to entwa for just be mo say an order restraining the second defendant. That's a Car Bank and a second defendant. Court to check Car Bank. Another restraining the second defendant from honoring any check presented to it by the first defendant or under his authority and or any member of the dissolved committee in respect of account number, which is that Lumba funeral account. That's a court and sanso and check Car Bank. Say any question say with the penny confuse and now say mpo obi biara ya o say with the penny confuse na want to me eba also obi giska e the free account no a one more epinema no say when you there be more mpene ema wo bia enso enyisika enso emfa enfremo said there is etientie no e baako no after say another directed at the second defendant to remove the signatories to the DO Foundation account and substitute same with the signatures of the newly formed committee members who may be appointed by the head of the immediate family of the late Charles Kojofu, aka Lumba. Necessary almost check court, pass the court and check out bank say one more signatories to our old account now or that Lumba funeral account now almost say Abusuapanin Kojofu to me ko iska free ma what you better say 9 udi can you 300 million so ko 600 million at you ko 2 billion. That's what Kabum one. That is 2.9 billion, 290,000 Ghana cedis. Yes. Court ensure a year or more na Car Bank for say or more signatories to the old account. The best are not free. It need people for now buy signatories to the account. I said people for don't buy signatories to the account. This say Abusuapanin Kofiusu. Ya Abusuapanin ya poku. Ya na immediate family na Abusuapanin. On na be yi omo edioma ba say or more signatories to the account. After it also be more say an order directed at the third defendant not to release the body of Charles Kojofu, aka that Lumba, to any person or persons without the knowledge, consent, and approval of the plaintiff. That's a court and share a third defendant na transition funeral homes or and then honey much that Lumba a body no as mono edda a shesabre. A court and show almost say a more need that Lumba mono and Abusuapanin Kofusu. Afei, a more need that Lumba mono Emma Obiara. Ewa bra one more year immediate family no yom na dance me abadan court you one mo nim ho hwe ti ko wase the penny ko so obe year Saturday 13th December ya say bia ya wa da 11th December now say fear that 12th December okoso okoyi that number mo free transition funeral homes court en share one say emo ma kwan emo the penny ko so enyi that number mo no emfa inferior no after it also be one say an order of perpetual injunction restraining the defendant either by themselves agents assigns workmen, etc., or anyone claiming through him from having anything to do with the final funeral rites of the late Charles Kojofosu, aka that Lumba. I say, have a court on sign and share or be over tabo and to Abusuapanin Kofi so have a car bank so and have a transition funerals a comi and saying nipa Abusuapanin Kofi so any comi no yaka car bank transition funerals see na defendant sabi edoma kuzna court the court and for tabo to am so say ema wo bi anase bi omu nipa bi anase obi omu so say adwuma ma omo bia enko kase say bi omisra meka that Lumba enunti that Lumba ewu emu ama na ebo ayi enwu hye ne ade no omo ka ho bi on pese omo tu na mo ho then the court enfata abonto say be ya omo bia na nkojina ba bia entu na mo bi say o tu that Lumba ayi enwu was say another of a perpetual injunction restraining the defendants either by themselves, agents, assigned, workmen, etc., or any one claiming through him from having anything to do with the final funeral rites of the late Charles. Yes, in the court in show na say be ya a bus that Lumba ayi enwu hye ya mo enya twaka bia enso ewo emu said there is yet and Abusua Sarkodie dated at Spirit Law Consort PRUC third floor Asari original PO building 122 Osuwon Street Abeka Accra this 3rd day of December 2025 and say and now Busumi I bring up Busumi when that also me and which is and nano ya wada and an better yeah you can bet on offering and she winning number rate of summons number being a mama and so as some said yes yes or got and Sasha say Thomas 10 crime is where for the plaintiff and then the license number near the account the registrar High Court Accra and to the above named defendant yes nti sanity yeah and so be able to ja yes yet me adb any more money bring us some this upgrade the Abusua kata some be to really can buy be so kwabna u twan tro kwabna bibia say any one make say munya wotre na kata no beto abonte be to ebo ase na chirichiri mu dia chiremo ya sabi am no ka say e mu nchemu na ya to ebo ase a ya chirichiri na mu and so dia chiremo very very sad but then akoba nsa and so that Lumba wechi de bia ade sa no say ye tinse mofro ya anti asem fofro na ekame akoyesi echi na busu ansem we ye asinti no ho ye be kwa ahoma ne so na ya twetwe nkomo kakra nsem bebre na firi mu ba ye be kwa ahoma ne so ya twetwe nkomo kakra na fe ye bisam panyini de asie nzo mo tv o mo ho bi de na mo kare afa ho afa kura ya beto dwa se Abusuapanin enra United Showbiz beto dwa se Abusuapanin kura ono adi ho adanse se odoboni ka che ne se ye nware no jiga ne kan jiga o ye ma me akoso abempomano eba se bi o ma fa ne se o mo bo amenka ne sa na so be ebo den o subu atia jenim na abeka yen sa ho mano so nti mama na kwa abantempa na sima be sinum ensem abeto dwa kakra ya o kare afa ho na fa bibia enso ayeboko ohene wadaroma otime nka anya nkwada wadaroma
no tawase bru no kwano ofa na kwabna na kwabna obusu wadaroma
adiomi na pombo ko de wadaroma
mede yesa de bia me ko twedi amponi asase ya ani sikadwa ni ewura sante ne se tu adaroma eja
okay yeah the body as yeah something else was wadaroma na yenka bi nhemu sisi a nsem abeto dwa ne se that the Lumba Abusua immediate family no ya of ya opoku da no mama jina Jemfi afei mama akoso abempoma ne woni aka omo sa atwe Abusuapanin kofuzi na kojina court na nyina ne se omo se Abusuapanin be se November no mu omo keka bom wasika wo ye free mo no ne pay sika free that Lumba the funeral account we work out bank no or the can koyi 30,000 Ghana cedis actually okoyi 60,000 Ghana cedis and after actually 21st November okoyi 200,000 Ghana cedis awa bra omo we immediate family omo chere say omo ne mu hwe omo nte mu hwe omo be wan say Abusuapanin akoyi sika no and after Abusuapanin na monto bia wotu no onfa omo nka ho omo say omo de nche say bi omo so na nka immediate family a sabi Lumba efiri omo na obaye Abusua ni nyina dia enti ama nsem na ha omo pante wo de nsem na akodan court se court ebe kwa court of tabo nto aye no so esanse yehwemu guso koso yenye yehwemu wie so Abusuapanin so okosie mu no ene nsem bebre ena wo mo acheche mu okante mo yakodan court na eba ni say ya na ene e wo se ben panini na motu yemfo eka bi kakra che nsem mo akoso ni wo he wadaroma yenti we dia na wo ka e dia fa ho
jo really kan richia by Grace TV afefo nyina
wadaroma
na mesrem konfo de bia no musu hye feature by Grace de enya afi wo ko kan se bia kosi ani na kwa ko ye bibi do no de ogina ho mpani sha aboa kontrol so se ni suma ani nani enya de bi ti be ka kire no So back and I just and then my working.
Wadaroma.
No, me can't ask him. We say, and Benny says you're the car, and from a baby, any can.
No correct.
Because I'm from a whole woman's United with
Jim. No correct.
We are Baba. Abusuapanin the warrior, Sika somewhere, Pradia, Miss. What dear? So I come as if you had a credit.
No correct.
Who would you want your crutches and look at it? Now, Abusuapanin on it. While the 29 years will be the gig house at the end. As fast as our counting Pempia, Sika woman the bar, Abusuapanin, say, describe Abusuapanin because they force me.
Okay.
While money pendy, I get some baby.
Okay.
And some of the doors. Abusuapanin, no, the aquarius and pennies are brought to be. Nika say, when your moja baby. So, Pessia, the moja no doors, near the issue back at my day after him.
Okay.
Adults. Intermediate, the air costume, and young one was Abusuapanin, Sabia Kushabem, Comania, Bushiana, and now for your friend say, dear. Lumba friend, who make me Nako coach.
Okay. Now, maybe I maintain some bias. I didn't like bar. Now, young is yet me cry, Miss Radia, Wadaroma. Now, your warrior Busia Munia, Diana, this year be at all. Eddie Abusuapanin, minim so to me, dear. Now, so won't me for our pay any idea wabra. Ebi and Bacona in Yamediano, and Ninian, 1 year no free of Nucromu. Ube you my film. Na dey na be ba Abusuapanin be to anamon. E wa bra. One year okas we bibia ontie dey except that Lumba nua ba ma me brempo ma of fire pokunum immediate family ka. Na dey obeka so we na no ama o we atal se wo ye ontie obi asem. Dey na be ba wadaroma.
Me patro dey warrior. And now e boss be a wakose enipa bi.
Okay.
So me Yeti be a memoir say. Memoir play role Lumba won na memoir say memoir say.
Okay.
Udi can't send this out for your circus. Sabia will say yard and one thing will be said, man.
Okay.
Now, one if it's a Sabia will say yard, Yanati will be a work with your penny, limit away. Sabia will be your penny.
Adaroma.
Yamame and a woman. Sabia, the cinema, and now we are baby example. The year 2010, we are body free.
Oh, Kafra.
It's a mommy, you look at.
Okay.
Only a penny in the village. Oh, yeah, you remember Bushafon who said, Media, minimum shit. Ain't he a day she's clear about me from Richard call you. You
wow.
So,
okay.
Abusuapanin some Ashanti, I'm a man. No, so Kumasi Nipana will feel we are more. You would have Mamma Croma, now say, Mamma Croma. We want to take a decision of the crown. You say we are blanket and get your city, who has sent out of favor. Now, Sunday, Mamma could shove them for mouth for your book when they dream, I make you someone winning. No, you fast you. When you wonder, you think I am like to study in any of your best one, so you're penny in the same.
Okay.
Never when you want to call Shusha, then I'll be cut, David.
Okay.
So the young and no Saudi will be quite the TV swap, not all cast, some more just anyway. My gun and album, and can catch us me with the apostle. A month for Bessie turning your upside down.
Okay.
Now, so you should penny in the open or better.
Wow.
So, see, won't you be?
I also.
One more again, so being can be doing much. As I said, it was one thing. You say, one more because the patron can be beaming to that may be thank you.
Wow. And some book class have told you and say, I was and some of the down court here. Almost say, on say, a brand some corner when I'm quite so committee no. Almost year for front idea, but our chess was your penny up to now. I don't catch up with your pennies. What one among be any immediate family, you might bring for mouth for a Pokemon film. As any medical canal, a free side burner bar on fire 1 year free, or no 2 among the open away. Nendola, our United Showbiz so in semi betuja. A brand your friend said, Guy, and him say, Sabi, or a Abusuapanin on Quan, some mamma bring for one fan and sending bar. Or say, Abusuapanin go fools with bra Lumba wolf from. Abusuapanin go fools one to say. Obusa odobruni ama odobruni se Lumba aware no e won Abusuapanin kura aka asa an no kwe odobruni aka se Lumba aware ndi onye kuna na ye sia na se abranch na se no kan na etisa de a edi na beba na Abusuapanin wa ho se aba na ka cho se ya anye ne ho ade ya ware nti bia won timi nye kuna Now all of a sudden sabi na besi na no abigina koto be dia dance here asa common so baby a asini pise oh ya wa no na 2010 ya wa no ma for sina for sukura no ho bi ma me ya ba ya no ho abra wa wodi ki aka se yan wa na enhwe waso kakra wada romo sa abati na small kind ye do kra enhwe waso wada roma
wa hine aya Abusuapanin kofusu the one that the Lumba wu ye
okay
ana le mu bi ase bai Osusame obi abusan se hwan na ebe yekuna na hwan na nyekuna na wa akọka se odobroni ya nware yim
okay
afedi eche so investigation Abusuapanin my investigation tell me say ya na hwan de you said the Lumba tie no ko ye obi hwan de anko wanye nkukomu obeya obi ehu na se ko gina court se ekoka ho asem Odobroni ebusuani a ye ni moja ama na Abusuapanin a mekina ho ne maami a mekina ho ne papa a mekina ho ne papa ewukura ne papa busuani a mekina ho ne maami ewukura ne maami a Abusuapanin a mekina ho se mpo odobroni maami miampo a mekina ho na so odobroni odobroni enua eba ekum asem we die
okay
sabi asem we die
okay
Ndi ko yimushu ye pass antimem ye kase ye kire mushu ne be yimushu ya ye odwan a akokọ ana nti
okay
yes okra ana abro no no what is yes ye preko ko yimushu
da bi da na menti bi da wada roma
na we ni what bi da
yes
abusuani nipa mi no na wo odobroni yo ne maami afam ni de papa afam se ni pakuro ni nyina ye nya obi anfie abusuani ma megina sabe akosha se wa busuani be di adansi ya nya biu na we di odobroni gi emia ekum
na se bia na
banana republica
na bia na wo so hwemu on na sabre no wa o se no wa wade na se bi te bia on betimi akai the course wa wade na se ntine bi obedi adansi na wada roma
na some way me say any your friend is a competent law court to be a better case in the out.
Okay.
We are busheni.
Okay.
Opa ye de we so o me kwa aware be so oba kaya ma mo sha de we asida one former MP for I think says mention
no
Collins
yeah honorable Collins also amaka mention no
no they can one of me interview me call you na me sure you don't have to pass here na me to let them so we bu sa so ono se ne wo fo se ne ware Lumba abusuans na le papa Ashanti ni pa na bi sanfo se wo fa ware obi abusuamu na se busuani ni efiri mu a wo ka funu akomiti mu asam we dey say ya de ye wo fa ban wo fa na wo ye wo fa ne bebi na ewu dia ene no de wo beti ne mu wo fa ko ware abusuani mu ntin se bi asia madam you don't have any right thank you say odobroni ni ni kunu so ni nyansa na busuafa so they will never do that mistake but I now say most mama can say a cook story uma trans judge and odobroni legal team ya trans say yeah can say
oh na that be na other man dey say okasa na o undermine the integrity of the honorable judge I just say a court of competent jurisdiction we should give credit to okay na odi chemu aba abechechemu pa my and then madam
I'm rubber
okay
what you come kron wu jana obetimi atra me vision ti o ko bo kron no ma o kure bi chance obotum abi ya
that's one okay
you won't be that you be that
okay
you won't be that to be that wo Ghana kum
okay
asama ba we didn't proof
wow
na some way you knew krana yansha election 2012 or 2013 petition
okay
I bring do calculations so one when you know NPP for cover KP yeah cover KPMG so one big box will cross examine
okay
and that say Ashanti ambe kwan emfa so ware lawyer ku see one mo she cross okay men kro ko men shi ya ne ma mu ampa ye ma no It's a South African man be train.
Okay.
It is out of judge in the face as small old in Kayakra and Cabell, the marriage certificate of Akosia Sewano. Now, case or no social deco. Not a correspondent, German for even embassy, and you will be bar. No better cross examine only a crown. No, the difference between German marriage certificate and then the Ghana marriage certificate. But meaning I want you also offer telephone or the phrase.
I'll say make a call now, but so call. Yeah, okay.
No. I just said I didn't know and why you see bogus judgment and your bogus verdict.
Now this is here. I said the Ababu to Jay. I was your penny and Nichodemous called. Now you're no car bank. On some of that Lumba, a year for 2 a da car bank and 1 crime headquarters. Almost in a court as second defendant. There was a penny confusing first defendant. Car bank a second defendant. And after transition funeral homes, yeah, well, atomic road and crime. I want that Lumba money share. Almost you don't be in a court. Yeah, the third defendant. I mean, you don't be in a court now. And some no can cut no more. Yeah, court now. Or just a court and share a transition funeral homes. We have that Lumba money share. Say, Mama, crime Abusuapanin confused. Emma be that Lumba money and free. When I say court of fact, I walk on 2 months. So say, Obia Mammy. Some business was your penny is big boss saying, I'm here at Maminda. Or ye, Nana Zauka Cano, and then I'll come found whatever.
A young one was saying, we are a quintet here, we were fast for Paco do baby. The one will be person of Babrisha, and Uncle William Connection, and you're playing to ya. Kill them, I say, I was 8 hours more about the group. Video of the Faber, be a chichi, I could say, yes, okay. And Camille, I'm your question, been for money, one woman come on. You see, be a book.
Then I saw
young maybe.
Okay.
Young maybe me a question been for man. Men of Yemia and you man matchna. What could you run a papa crew as ye? What could you run a crew as ye? What about masters of any other way? Nanko ama akosia se wanso aye ni bi wo Germany panyai wo ja se monfa because what it means what the court enkosi aga so long as Baba Jama former NDC MP faculty woye minister woye government legal team advice hey when the court 20 million times you lose it 20 million times and media me ameko
na say o my idea sabi o your legal system no nya manyo say the mra na ebu nti en fa won say bia ana wadaroma
me wo hile
no
young fan asem ya ma mi be di ya obu ayi
okay
what the atmosphere we found so funny because we are
o just what the mra not to ho ni ade na okay
Some of the country this is my any Masha almost about 20 lawyers.
Okay.
Yeah, will be a name. Oh, my dear. 20 no. I was just away about 17 lawyers. Much as some say and then
okay.
Our software come away, now we are back away, so on 20, and who bears 18 in favor of who die public view at the same time.
Okay.
It's my partners on one in Mulo. No. What do you put up along?
Okay. And this is here, I command say, Abusuapanin, the all can now, or say, Yama may bring for money of your Pokemon Sagu Mochi. Now, or cast a thing so we see that Lumba Memende. Na ko ba sesano immediate family of fire pokuma be pon yes ade ye nko yin so ya pama wa na omu di areho abi betimi asia na wada roma
me patro ne fere se fia de di fufi omu sha se free ya wada yin be en ka be kwa se Lumba na mu yase wo no ebrada
ai wo no ebrada
ni e ne tu kwadu
ba twa
e tran ko mu rubia ebrada wo mu mobi ya wada wo mu mobi e fia da no mu di atap wo fie na di ache me da na fe ni ehwe so ngaye after the national area one of the biblical to Lumba fu na se ti akra no the question me bi sound say Abusuapanin what can come e di akwa kugu na apa akoso he ya che so no kra de wa mani di amayi obi o mu nyina ya de hie o it say I find Abusuapanin obi ba akosie Lumba
and also cry asem fufuro na
me cause me to one you so a flying the flying obi ba akosie Lumba or no ba akafo sie ye and that's what number call the papa kurum
Okay.
And now what you become super baby and no motor, and now someone remember Akoso. And now Akusiana.
Okay.
Cause young boy, some mean they did.
I was even there, Bea.
And come here, sure, Sanka, arrangement, Papa Parkoswa, can send in Kayaki, Sabi a moon, a manano, and can who you smoke our money about
what are we? I know, Crepa.
Then she says, yeah, we know someone, now finding who was him. Abusuapanin no try you to so ka say na mo ka say be so am bia
I also be so yeah
no your question cause yanya santi ya mambrem sebi na santi hima santi maya ka santi maya ekoko eastern central or western sebi na santi ma pra sebi okọ ekura na namu frɛ no sebi ye de da no ma Ashanti sebi ne mfuna ne nko ayi ko ka ni
no correct
komani hako
no correct
na Lumba o ye de ade sebi na pa ko so yin ne kura no se mi fie dɔɔso na sebi e tie bi ni pa bɛkɔ ɔkwa ya ne da no ye hu no
am say Abusuapanin ka bi say that Lumba na tia say o ka say sebi we nyame dia ma ye ma obi amehwe ne ne ti sana Abusuapanin ka minim ye say no so bi
me pa cho
Wadaroma
pa cho the sound work and any Lumba na kura ne ne mo ɔno de wo ye mu bi ati wo say wo ni ya ha ko hia say wa ne bempoma obeda ne sama kankan na Abusuapanin ne nkan
Lumba kan
like sometimes we know how to describe a certain words.
Okay.
So Lumba ne can say, "Ubi a wone ne ya kan da ben wo kan ye." Lumba ne wo bi akosia bempoma no ya ti Germany. Ene wo fa ya pokunum, no wo fa pay. Ubi a wone wo ya kan wo wo be kan li wo akira asem akira wo say, "Ni wo a mo bi a mekumani." Ne mo ne wo fa ne ni nua ba no de wa mo mama ni.
Also bibi o ho a ebia sabi if you person omo di hint na chinchini a e be sie no meme nda be ya yemie so ne ade a na bibi o ho a
me say baby a ye be sie no me di ja
okay wadaroma
so na ye media ma
wadaroma
because nka anya kura no because baby ye de na akotro ye say mo so de ye home
transition funeral homes e won kan atomic
so no kura ye hu
wadaroma
so say wo ja obi a obetimi de mortuary number ma o say
enya asem kitwa
ni wana
no kura wadaroma
na adenti ne besi ne baby a ye besi no Netherlands me Holland me say enye became ye enye known in the public.
Okay. Wow.
Now we share for penny one year wow o be can say mo can say baby
I was in
now we dey tani kasa
I say more
enti mo we share penny no we say of ya poku ma me mpoma na ma o mu biabo enti ma cho me say Joada Lumba papa na wo no no to kwadru no
okay
Nida, yami, kadi oba ye no. Etie biem, ebrada panyai. So Lumba ebrada.
Ya no bia.
Like ya wada panyai. Efianda, omuma nya ma ke pa ye gire sie ye. No ma ye. Sa de etia, ombe pa ko sie ni ai. Obi an ka obi.
Okay. Ah, we dey, mza waka ni na ye gya wa ma wakọ wadaroma bru. Na dia na apese oka, e twa to na afi ye mfanse.
Media de meka pa and it's edikan a month for a brush so omumo ma sante sam okay ye wona sante na punso se tukan me sante se me hiya na me sha empedise edufokie e den hwe se bi mfia pema entimi na na cheche na beda ne den cho
okay
Lumba uye santini santimem ne to na wo bo bra na de fa so ko wa bruchi se bi wo be ya style bi na nkran wo be ya yi na am den na afa de wa ko dan ho am enne se bi Lumba wunya santini a wudi ka ko tena nkran
okay
amachi dede na amachi dede adanti
okay
se bi so kwa wo bo na Lumba e bi kra na wo shenika enso wo ko amachi dede ni kuro mu agogwa na nsen bi nwe bi efiri ni 1 week omudi okosha abusuesi almost every week they are making the spend ni kuro mu agogwa
no kwe
sabi yado idea gesi the me Ashanti for two mufu we dey yan hwe ye ex your first lady now it's my kwadu run so we no free mu kura na entra ko na ye see wu
okay
it was just na me carry that ofo a ofri mu na yin ye see
that never
see sentiment
okay
okay so yan hwe ni ya you wuli ni ye we ma me kai tia me costume so asem bi o ko fi obi wo ho a Ashanti shunu eni ni mu ni moja ni mu wo ka asem wa Ashanti no ni mu ni shunu ni moja ejina salega na ediga
okay jam ko kuzu
yes
oh okay wow
okay international manfo
okay
the me Ashanti se mi here ye
okay
eti abi no machia you are take krawi any brand dem mu maso okay so say tu yo many penya nkwan da bia
adaroma
bichia mi wura Ashanti here machia mi ali wura dampona no hene
okay
dem ma say kwa mi chirifi wura bichia no bibiri na machia mi ame ma mi awu mi let's see je wa akodi
okay
eja me ma mi fi Holland wa ba betra Ghana wo jina ho me kakere ja wo ba holiday tina ka bre usi ya kokko sra
wadaroma na kodo na na kodo wadaroma
mi na issue be abo de mi na mi di kwa bre usi na wo ne to me no
wadaroma
ti wo kwa na ja we ja be say 100,000
wadaroma na okay
na say so mi sa tia womo eja wo sha ase nkakra mo sponsor wo ne me gidi send say wo ka branch di ho asem say un kokoshia the first time wo jai na djuma be
ya YouTube na na nya asem kitwa YouTube TV ya mi sure
me ba Ghana aka che say me top of nkakra bi dia be che
wadaroma be ka che pa YouTube TV
okay ti dia kan so search ya me yire na educate any me bushia for owo eye de nyame residential area ni ki Injünction ye opposite Kumasi
okay
ichia ubidia
nana Monica sa ye da se pa
na ma mi me na cho
wadaroma
wo fa se ma de ni na
okay
Linda mami ampelu aka emamu daddy
Lumba okay
Nelson Kings oni ni hukani
okay
entubos ya kondilin
okay
michia wo munyina na machia ubibia akabia be mushia fo wa brochiri nyina michia ubia
Monica sana ye da se pa ye da se
yes me da
abusua nana ye ne kasa ye nana nsuo be ye bodan owusu boaten agyenim nana na ye krobia sante kotoko hene damp na no hene enkoso hene dodo na afre nana bush ewo Amsterdam abrochimemu nana ya to ye boase na kasa sabi wache na dwen de afa ensem a ekoso ye abusua din na bepem ha that Lumba sense ye need ye hwe enye se bia yempe obi asem anase bia etan obi nemom ensem aba abonte ne de soma mansan na yesan so stress empanyufo mo a na pepepe ye enedi na obi ante na wanse na obi anfa akomapa entachi ni ntimi nsi that Lumba ni munyam sanse that Lumba bro boy na nyum obeto Ghana ha no ensem fata se ye be na yi ne mwache na bi bonyo so we cement ase da bi tina me de bia me ya na me stress empanyufo so mu na moa na yi na yemfa akomakro ene kwankro entachi na yensi that Lumba san se twosem kan abusua o se nipa woni hensie ni ya sabio opombompo enwo mfaso e de chena twosem no ha saka se fie ye mu ache no entimi nyina a house divided against itself cannot stand nti empese empapa mbaba abusua ne mu eza entimi nyina ye timi dia komapa akotai that Lumba ye chem bibia ya boko nti esre se mpanyufo ina nkamom na obi ante na wasna pepepe ye adwuma ye makwan mu obi ahaw ye ntie ne nsom na bibia anye boko ye nkatara Lumba chi na bibia anye asom bi me de kwabena wusu kai se obi trading enterprise ye wo Kumasi South Central Junction so masna bi bro nya be open tade papa empa papa ene perfume papa gu want to meka na ko Kumasi South Central Junction na kwa GB na bibia anye kama promotion kwa asase tikakra bi ekura obi abenya tade papa ene perfume papa edi egu on so ena make am for Better Grace Financial Services the amount Ghana for more America and Ghana for more Canada #1 insurance group #1 financial services assistance on here be an Better Grace Financial Services on intermediary financial group you bet me tia boa the be a dishase na na ma me ohenere da na kusin twin komo number na twego no na bet me a chiro kwan bet me Better Grace Financial Services to na mo na no mo sika ko ju baabi na ukọ ahomudie mo ko pension a na bi akọ base ohia sika betam sika boom the amount yes ka mo betam the amount onye wo to bia tax free umpe we na de be e na ope nti mesro ne better grace into anamo e na afi se bia mesro me ka on no mo di juma no a mesro me ka on sumi na so ha nya manye bi ba na be binti wuntimi nya juma bi mu a o mo abehwe wakopim se obi nya me dia ahwe wo ma so akopim se o be wie na ma Fovers TV na bibia and so I will continue to any better grace financial services into an amount. The church work was young Mr. So will show me now what you are saying. Ya will be a brandy be or so young afraid there a year you might think no the boat and Uber no Mr. Kind of for type some na will be about a young brandy be a sabin ho jo minimum power pa ya on pane ho asem so young afraid there a Christo ni mapa na this what the no answer so a year you man sakona no they been so aka abusuane bia so abusuane na so ti be abusua me sa dance yam kotojogu form so wo hwe me na wo ti ase na na wo probi amande aye boat na uber ma de ni di ni abrase kwan so be sure afa number ye twegu na frɛ me sure me ka na me am connect abrantie na ma na se bi mi asma se bi bia be bɔkɔ ɔbɛyɛ adwuma ndi ama na no so set me akwana no ni wonya bi di ahwɛ abusua ɛno ane ne how ɛno na koma so ade ka se twɛ sem se ense anya adwuma any kwan se di ntina me stress abusua ya me nka makoma na wa bisa na frɛ me na me connect abrantie ma hwɛ se bi bia be pe kama ya ɔbɛyɛ adwuma ndi ama na so nsa akwana no nim se nya menti mo bɛ boae na bi bia bɔkɔ me din ade kwa bana wusu kɔso anhwɛ by Grace TV me mo bia official pa ya me nkan wa officer se ne atinkwam na by Grace TV ye fra dum akwa dum na nyame aye kese na won so hwɛ me ade bia wo ye ade bia won se kura mu akoma so ade bia na nyame atire mama na wa ya ma e wo ye Awurade Yesu Kristo din nti amen me din kwa bana wusu bepa me bishia bakra bye bye.